If you look at the threads on the top of the strut mount, they should be parallel from each other. If the threads are starting to point away from each other, then that means it's starting to mushroom. Now, to counter that mushrooming effect, you need to install reinforcement plates. This plate. Hello and welcome to How to Helen, where you learn something different every day. In this episode, we will be installing reinforcement plates and new struts for this 2005 BMW Z4. Now, the reason I'm installing new reinforcement plates is because this and the 3 Series BMWs have a common issue where the mounting area for the strut mounts are weak points. Their solution is to sell these reinforcement plates for the 3 Series. But if you look for Z4 reinforcement plates, it's not available. So you have to use the 3 Series plates or E86 plates for this vehicle. They are 100% compatible. And in case they're not, then you'll know today. I was able to buy my reinforcement plates on eBay, directly from a seller from Latvia. The seller is not a sponsor of this video, but I'm gonna put a link on the description below on where I was able to purchase it, just to help others if you wanna do this safety precaution as well. The first thing we need to do is loosen these 3 13mm bolts on the top. Now, don't take it off yet because we're not ready to remove the struts from the bottom. So for now, just loosen it. Use a 13mm socket and wrench to loosen it. Now that it's loose, let's go to the bottom. Next, we need to remove the sway bar link. Now, as reference, I'm showing here an extra sway bar link that I have. So you need a 16mm socket to remove the 16mm bolt on the sway bar link. But to prevent the link from spinning, you need a slim 19mm wrench to hold it in place so that the link doesn't spin with a bolt. So you will hold it in place while you take off the nut. Now let's do it with this one. Now, as you can see, my 19mm slim wrench is already in place. So now I will use my 16mm socket and wrench to remove the nut in front. Now hold the link in place by using the slim wrench so that it doesn't spin with the nut. Now we can take out the sway bar link later. Next, we need to remove the base of the strut from the knuckle assembly. Now we need to loosen the 18mm bolt at the knuckle assembly so that we can slide out the base of the front struts. So use an 18mm socket and wrench to remove it or loosen it. With the base loose, now we can take out the nuts on the top. So my apologies to everyone watching. I forgot to mention that I'm using a jack with a jack pad to raise the assembly up so I can take out the sway bar link out of the strut. So with it up right now, I can just pull the sway bar link out of its position. So let's continue removing the strut assembly. Now take out the 3 nuts on the top and be ready to catch the strut at the bottom. Okay, last one. So be ready to catch it from the bottom. As you can see, the strut is going down from the center. And my thing failed. Abort! Abort! Okay, full disclosure, we had to take out the bolt because I didn't realize that there's a bracket where the bolt is holding to, that's holding all the hoses and wires on it. So, and Helen's here to lower the assembly so I can try to pull out the strut. So Helen, lower it slowly. And this should push outward and we can pull the assembly out. Stop, stop, stop. Okay, so at least the base is out of the hub assembly. Lower a little more. We just need some space so that we can take it out because there's not enough clearance from the top to get it out. Alright, stop, stop. And yay, there you go. And there's your front assembly. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the old strut and the newish strut. Plus, here's the reinforcement steel that we're gonna put. So unfortunately, we ran into problems with our reinforcement plate. If you put it on top, as you can see, there's no hole for this notch. And we need a hole for that. Otherwise, this will not sit properly on the mounting points. So it's either we don't use this anymore or we cut the hole on this if it's that easy to cut into this steel, which I'm very hesitant to do. So I'm leaning towards just putting the new struts in.
1 hour later.
So I'm gonna put the reinforcement plate at the bottom, then we're gonna mark where we want to make a hole for the notch. So let me put this in the bottom, then align the holes on the top. Then we're gonna put a mark where we need to put a hole. And there you go. So I just remembered I have this metal stepper drill bit here at home. So we're gonna see if we can drill on this reinforcement plate. Alright, looks like they should fit. Okay, here's the top of the strut mount and here's the reinforcement plate. Alright, it fits. Yay. It is a little big, bigger than what we need, but that's good enough. Alright. Now with the reinforcement plate on the front strut, let's put in the whole assembly. So we'll put it aligned on top first. Then we'll figure out how to slide it in lower, a bit lower. Is it lowering? Give me a second. There you go. Now with the base of the strut in the hub assembly, we're gonna align the top threads on the strut mount or the top mount, and Helen's gonna raise up the assembly slowly. Up, up, stop, stop. With the strut up and in place, wiggle it just a little bit just to make sure that the base is seated properly in its place. Just make sure that everything's secured. Okay, up. Make sure that the threads are in the respective hole. Stop for now. One turn. Okay, you caught it. Up more. One turn. Before installing the base bolt or pinch bolt, put some thread locker on its threads to help it secure in place. Now don't forget to slide in the slide bracket before putting in the pinch bolt or base bolt. Start by hand tightening it first to prevent it from cross-threading. Once it is hand tightened, use an 18mm socket and wrench to tighten it up. Tighten the bolt to 60 foot-pounds or 81 Newton meters. Then make sure that the nuts are torqued to 18 foot-pounds or 24 Newton meters. Next, let's reinstall the top nut. Make sure you start by hand tightening it first to prevent it from cross-threading. When you feel like the base is turning with the nut already, then put in your slim wrench to hold it in place. Tighten the nut to 42 foot-pounds or 58 Newton meters. And that is how to replace the front struts and install new reinforcement mounting plates on this 2005 BMW Z4. Now don't forget to do the other side as well. This has been another episode of How to Helen. My name's R. Jeff, and thank you for watching.